So complacency's a crime. Started from the bottom, but patiently we climb. Up out that muck and that mire. Up through them cybers to touch our desires. Now famously we shine. Applying masonry to grind. Escape the matrix of your mind. I'm in tune with the moon in the night. I'm consuming the light. They assume that I'm Christ. As I fuel with the soothsayer sight, you will lose if you're using it right. Reality's an illusion of life, and I'm choosing a ride on a musical flight. Lit a fuse so my future is bright. I'm in tune with the moon in the night. I'm actually dead. My body only moves when I let the music blast in my head. Was attacked by the feds. I was Samson today, hacked off the dress to subtract from the strength. I see the world through this magical lens, and the trend is emasculate African men. The only path is you have to ascend and react in defense, so the rapture will end. I cracked out the egg with the hand that's attached to a pen. Ink blood lead the path the wrist red. The best art comes from sleep deprivation. Telepathic how I keep conversation. A genius created, we need innovation. What is death but a deep meditation? The ether was waiting. I should have told Martin to teach segregation. The king in the making. I'm in tune with the moon in the night. I'm consuming the light. They assume that I'm Christ. As I fuel with the soothsayer sight, you won't lose if you're using it right. Reality's an illusion of life, and I'm choosing a ride on a musical flight. Lit a fuse so my future is bright. I'm in tune with the moon in the night. Seeing signs of embellishments, hearing rhymes of irrelevance. That's not cloth talk, that ain't how a boss talk. Too much duck and soy, that ain't how the sauce talk. Too many fuck boys and D-boys, too many decoys, Bruce Leroy's. Bitch, I'm showing up, red glow, red flow is red gold. I'm strapped with them choppers, wrapped up in copper, deactivated chakras, decapitated monsters. Moonlighting, niggas coming out of the can, the masculated Oscars. The signs are enormous, the times are upon us, the crimes in the corners. And they project this violence, and they protest in silence. Form the whole tech alliance. They wanna protect the science, they wanna protect the lions. All the killers took a bounty, started cooking like it's Cook County. People dead in a castle with nothing but the crooks round me. Got the knowledge from the lifers, went to college with the vipers. Got the scholars with the ciphers. The game to be sold, I'm up in the cost. The chain they be gold, I'm up in my sauce. The name to be whole, I'm up in lacrosse. The view panoramic, I'm up in my horse. I'm up in the Porsche, dropped in the range, dropping some change. Popped up in foreigns, Doctor Strange. Stroll through the timelines, hop through the lanes. Hotep in the Hondas, hotels in Rwanda. All roads lead to Wakanda. Twin flows on the intro, got them 10 toes in the Enzo. 66 Impala, all white.
Peace to the family, peace to the family, peace to you and yours. This is your brother Red Pill. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is another episode of Th3rd Thursdays. Number 27 to be exact. Jack, which just happens to land on the 4th of July. Alright. Shout out to everybody out there. What's popping? If you in any hood in America right now, shit is popping outside your window. Either some firearms or some fireworks, regardless of whatever it is. It's lights in the sky, flashing lights. You know, shout out to Boston. Let's get this roll call going on. Y'all come right in and start doing shout outs. Alright, but that's cool. We got North Carolina always in the beginning. Alright, North Kakalaka. Charlotte, you know what I'm talking about? North Carolina is always in the building. That must be from my DNA. South Carolina, shout out to y'all. Chicago's always in the building. Detroit is always in the building. LA is always in the building. Sacktown is always in the building. Vegas is always in the building. Leesburg, Virginia. Virginia is always in the building. Okay, you already know. VA by way of PA. Empress B444 is always in the building. Buffalo, New York, Rough Buff, y'all always in the building. You know what I'm talking? California, always in the building. You know what I mean? That's a given. Philly is always in the building. Cali is always in the building. Ohio is always in the building. Shout out to all of y'all out there. ATL is definitely always in the building. Norfolk, VA, always in the building. That's where my mama was born. So it's no surprise. Okay. Washington State by way of NY, Sacramento in the bill. Pray for the. All right. Sister said, pray for my friend and family. She just lost her son from a gunshot wound by the police, and they thought he shot a gun and he had a firecracker. Yes, sending love and light to your family, to your friend's family, and everybody involved in that situation. All right, I'm sure we'll hear about that in the media. Ohio's in the building. Rockingham is in the building. You done know. NC, Seaside, California. All right, that's what's up. I hope if I ever hit the road and whatnot and I need a couch to surf on, that I'll be good across all 50 state lines because, you know, if this was Wave right here, if this was an Uber map, we pretty much everywhere, goddammit. You know what I'm talking about? 707 is in the building. Lees, you got one in Leesburg. That's what's up. That's what that's good knowing. Well, I hope all of y'all had a wonderful 4th of July. Me, personally, I had the privilege of being in Brooklyn, New York City, at the Commodore Park today. And today was the beginning of the International African Arts Festival. So I don't want to scare anybody off when I say African, you know what I mean, or international, and you remove yourself from this conversation. I'll give you a minute. Yeah, so today was the first day of the International African Arts Festival. In that title alone is abundance, richness, and prosperity. Let's talk about it. International. International. We just did a roll call right before we start every show. We show that there's an international fan base. We show that there's an international listener base. We show that there's an international viewership, which establishes global presence, which is able to, in mathematical terms, multiply a buy back the block mentality or a I'm on a come up mentality times about 100, if you really think about it, because let's talk about it. The US.S.A is a very big place. Some of us live in states inside of those places where we never even left a a 40 mile radius, right? There's some people that are listening to the show who've never left the 40-mile radius of their quote unquote hood. There's people in New York City who live in the Bronx who's never ventured into Brooklyn ever. There's people from Brooklyn who's never ventured into certain parts of Manhattan, so it's understandable. But that does not stop them from making money. That does not stop them from tapping into multiple income streams. That does not stop them from conquering their quote unquote market share inside of whatever market they find themselves in, right? So if you have somebody who can enterprise in a 10 block, 10 mile, or 10 state radius, just imagine for 1 minute, right? Attach a visionary's perspective to this. Imagine if that same person would be able to extend their reach into 30 countries. That's what international means to me when I hear it. International means a fulfillment of what my ancestors, the ones that I'm identifying, my master teachers who I've gone on record identifying and putting it out there who they are by name and by era and by, and by school of thought that they teach, right? Those people, along with, ancestors whose shoulders I stand on, okay? All of those people they taught me and those of us who were in those same classrooms that the black man is God and the whole globe is ours. They didn't teach us about borders. They actually they had the audacity to teach us about our celestial story or our galactic presence or our omnipotent omnipresence presence as being one of the one. You know what I mean? Being of the one who is the all. So it's the same way that a drop of water is still a part of the ocean, regardless of the size of the ocean or regardless of where the ocean is, still in all. That drop of water is part and parcel to that ocean. And that's the same way that your energy or your spirit or your light is part and parcel to God or the creative force, whatever, or Yahweh, or the Tetragrammaton, or Ein Sof, whatever name you want to attribute to it, whatever you want to try to, whatever verb, whatever you want to try to utter. They said you can't even utter the name, but whatever you come up with, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. International. Now, African, just the other day, 30 African countries agreed to one currency. Do you know what that means to a person like me who's sitting around waiting on a check? Because, yeah, I'm waiting for mine too. It says to me that that can translate to a lot of profit. That could translate to a lot of, that's going to translate for brothers and sisters that are forexing or trading, foreign exchanges, or dealing with day trading and things of that nature. They're going to profit off of that if they venture into that into those markets. Then for my entrepreneurs who are in America, who's into exporting and also importing, you're going to be able to profit off of that. There's a lot of empire building taking place in the motherland. And guess what my master teachers taught me verbatim? They said verbatim that in the future, specifically around 2020, the continent of Africa, where even if your direct bloodline did not descend from, you still have ancestral ties, and you still have an ancestral bond to that land by way of some of your ancestors who may have populated the Americas, the Caribbean, you know, the 13 colonies. You feel me? The mega cities, shit like that. You know what I mean? You only think that you come from one hood because y'all been banging that 5 generations. Yeah, but there's still a tie between blood, and that blood is tied into culture, and that blood is tied into the geodetics and the parallels in which we find other people who are attached to us via DNA, an unseen string theory, an unseen bond, an unseen string. Like when you go and get your DNA test, I've been running into some advanced DNA testers, and it goes beyond Ancestry.com. I ran into a European lady at the Queen of Fours Planet Hill Expo in Atlanta. She presented a form of genetic testing that was far advanced from what they're showing in Ancestry.com and things of that nature. I got a brochure. But I'm saying all of that to say that unbeknownst to many of us, we are genetically tied to people around the planet of all shades, shapes, backgrounds, colors, nationalities, ethnic groups, native tongues, you name it. We have doppelgangers. We have people who we're tied to. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of things. There's individuals who look just like us. So maybe not for all of us, but for some of us, we can see the worth and the value in certain kind of events, certain words, certain descriptions of those words, international, African, and art. All of those are $1 billion to me. International Billy, African Billy, Art Billy, Festival, another billion, and another one. Because let me tell you something about these festivals and how powerful these festivals are. Today's festival was laid back. It was very hot out there, but the vibes and the level of you know artistry and just the overall feeling, because this is about feeling. Remember, Napoleon Hill, he emphasizes enthusiasm. If anybody studies Napoleon Hill, if anybody studies Mastermind Principle, if anybody studies the science of getting rich, all of these things speak to enthusiasm. Okay, you ever been around somebody and they just make you so giddy that you get enthusiastic and magical things begin happening? Because those people activate something within you that's releasing all of these dopamines. You're getting excited. You know, the hype, when people build up the hype for something, like right before a fight or right before the release of a movie or right before an album drops, you're enthusiastic about it. You know, when you're watching Bitcoin rise up and things of that nature, you're enthusiastic about the future and what it holds for cryptocurrency, not just the Bitcoin, but when you start seeing the altcoins popping, when you start investing in weed stocks and things of that nature, or you start investing in AI stocks and things of that nature, or exploding, you dig what I'm saying? Splitting, you get enthusiastic, you get nervous, you get butterflies, but at the end of the day, you get enthusiastic. When you meet a baddie, a potential, bae, somebody who is someone who you were pursuing, you become enthusiastic about what the possibilities of what the future holds. There's all forms of that. But what I'm saying is enthusiasm is an unwritten principle about how we make things manifest. Okay? It could be considered the secret sauce in a way. But you should get excited about things as they begin to unfold. You should get excited about the thought of something coming into manifestation and watch it trickle down the quote unquote Sephiroths in the tree of life and come into Malkuth and form that idea or that enthusiastic thought. That's why they tell you to think about good things when you're in a pleasure moment or in your pleasure principle, aka in translation for men, you know, when you're getting your soul snatched. Okay, is that safe enough? I know it's late at night. They say you should think about good things about what you want to manifest because you're in a state of enthusiastic, orgasmic, or organ, blissful. You know, you're in a blissful state, my nigga. You're in limbo, but you're in good limbo. You know what I'm talking about? You're in a good limbo. You're not in limbo on a bed of knobs and whatnot. You're not on hot coal, my nigga. You're not in that limbo. You're not floating, but you're in limbo. And women as well, you know, when you're in a situation where things are feeling real cosmic, they say that that's an enthusiastic moment in life. You should think about good things. You should think about stuff that you want to manifest. You should bring down all of the, you know, lofty ideas of how you see yourself and what you want to manifest for yourself, and things of that nature. Because these are moments of enthusiasm, you know. So these festivals, they just make me very enthusiastic about life because when I'm walking through, and this festival that I'm talking about is in their 48th year, 48 years going strong in Brooklyn, an international arts, international African arts festival, and it's African. So it's powered by the ancestors. If you understand, if you could underdig what I'm talking about, what's my staff? If you could follow me, you know, if you could walk with me, it's powered by the ancestors, so it's protected and it's very mystical. So you see people who you haven't seen for a long time. You see people who you met 10 years ago, and they're standing in front of you on a stage performing and doing a full-blown concert and rocking the show. And it almost brings tears to your eyes because it's called the cycle of success. You know what I'm saying? The cycle of success, when everybody's happy to see each other because y'all started out 10 years ago, 11 or 12 years ago, talking about this. You feel me? They saw your humble beginnings. You know, one of the beautiful things about 2019 is that it's a 10-year cycle year. So a lot of the people who I came up with in 2009 or individuals who I built with in 2009, I get to see them in a 10-year cycle. They pop up, especially during these cosmic alignments, like this solar. They just had a solar eclipse on Tuesday. So the gate, it was just a grand alignment in Cancer and whatnot. So you're gonna start seeing a lot of things come down on the 4th of July, especially this weekend. The quote unquote gates are still open. It's a lot of powerful things going on. You just have to pay attention because the great divine speaks through signs. There's no fucking voices in a thundercloud. If you keep waiting for that, my nigga, you're gonna be waiting. No hands are coming down to molest you from the heavens. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's coming to unbuckle you and suckle you. This is something that happens through symbology. This is going the great divine nature is speaking to you. The great divine is speaking to you through signs and symbols. You're having experiences and meeting people, and doors are opening up for you, so you could get out of your comfort zone, and you could get a little bit on the ledge, and you could push yourself to level up and take this shit to a higher level, because that's what the ancestors, that's what the babies are crying and screaming for. That's what everyone expects of you at this point. 2020 is not going to be about, what we was doing back in the days. And, what you'll remember 2017, that's not what it's going to be about. I don't want to burst your bubble and whatnot, but it's going to be about forward progression. People are going to have conversations about 20, 30, 40, and 50. And if you're not putting yourself in that mind state by attending festivals, gatherings, anywhere where more than 3 people in dashikis get together. I don't know what these niggas is talking about. Anywhere where more than 3 people in some African patterns get together, nigga, that's a seance. Do you know what that means? It means it's a magical setting and whatnot. It's the way that you cook your pot. It's what tools and utensils are you coming to the cookout with. You know what I'm talking about? Because people come to these places and I see them make magic happen, out of thin air, and I see people hop in and out of portals and whatnot, and it's just a magical thing because we are mystical as a people. We are powerful more together than we are separated. And love is a power principle. It is the most powerful. It is the most powerfulest weapon that we possess collectively, not individually, but collectively as a people. You can make mountains fall apart with your love. And I'm not talking about corny love either. There's tough love. There's thug love. There's love. There's love for your people and love for your culture and love from whence you came, and love for the contributions that your people gave to create what is known as an independent America that would not exist if it were not for the love of quote unquote what they call Negro, Black, and colored people, misnomered the Aboriginal, indigenous Indians, and the quote unquote copper tone complexion Americans and other inhabitants of the land of Amexem, aka Americas, South America, Central America, North America, and the Caribbean islands, which speaking about a continent, not a corporation, not USA, the whole Americas. The whole Americas. Let's get into a history lesson because this is the 4th. The whole Americas. Okay? Let me get into teacher mode. Coming up very soon, this is a public announcement while I prepare myself to teach you niggas. Coming up very soon, we have discovered what is going to be known as a YouTube killer. Now, don't get excited and don't get scared because YouTube isn't going anywhere. But there's something on the horizon. It's not even on the horizon. The eagle has landed. There's a software that has manifested the way that I knew it would, because everything has to change, because the only thing constant is change. So I remember the times, and there's people who probably can't understand what I'm coming from, and they probably can't attest to it, but there was a time when we had to say goodbye to the VHS tapes, and everybody was nervous that there would be nothing else coming after that. Then there was something called the DVD, and niggas broke it down. The shit stood for David, DVD without the vowels, and that was groundbreaking because that helped bring all of the that helped bring all of the scholars from the metaphysical underground, as well as the master teachers like Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Ivan Van Cernema, Eugene Adams with Blacks in Asia, um, uh, shit, um, Eugene Adams, Blacks in Asia, everything that Farrakhan and them was doing, videos from York. I mean, it goes on for days. So the DVD helped because the VHS tape was a physical product. That because of its space, because of the dimensions of it, because of its physical limitations, it was big and bulky. It did not afford the abundance, or it did not afford the exponential multiplication, or it didn't really, people didn't have big libraries because of that. Like your parents' porn collection. Remember, it was big bulky VHS tapes. Then it slimmed down to DVD tapes, and then the collection grew, because when you take away the dimensions of volume, like size and things of that nature, which are limitations in this quote unquote physical world that is limited by certain dimensions and whatnot. But when you take it into the digital world, you erase that, and you begin to enter into what is known as the long tail. All right, and that's a formula that the editor from Wired, Chris Anderson, introduced that in a book form, and I highly suggest that anybody that's listening to this and you want to do more research for it, you go and you get the long tail, okay? And there's also an updated version called the longer tail. All right, and understand how things transform from bits to atoms, or from atoms to bits, okay? And how monumental that was. How conglomerates like iTunes or Apple Music took over conglomerates like Tower Records, okay? Not TowerRecords.com, but Tower Records. How Sam Goody, Tower Records, all of these places, brick and mortar, who had physical limitations because of their shelf space. They were outrun, they were ran out of town, and they were uh, basically dominated by the dot coms. And the dot coms, the advantage that the dot coms wield over the brick and mortars is the fact that because it is in the unseen realm, or the digital realm, or the light code realm, or the quote unquote cyberspace realm, or whatever dimension you would want to identify it in, is limitless. It has no limit, unlike that of a brick and mortar. So you elevate and you upgrade to click and order from brick and mortar. That's Amazon, fellas. That's Amazon. Click and order versus brick and mortar. It's $1 billion formula. I'm not gonna unpack it for you. You know what I'm talking about? You could just take that right there and go and dig out your own diamond mine. You could go ahead and change your whole life just with that right there. Just with that. That's a formula that if you go ahead and really do your research on it and dig into that, you're going to see something pop up. Okay? So, gathering in the sun, right, on an open field, there's some concrete out there, but it's open grass where you could take your shoes off and begin to ground and whatnot. Culturally, meaning that when you have a festival and it's focusing on the culture is garlic, the culture is kryptonite, and the culture is a gatekeeper to all of you fuck niggas and your fuck nigga ways and all of the Greco-Roman shit that black people love to drag wherever the fuck did they go until you put them into some sort of cultural garb and you erase that. What am I saying? I'm saying that it wasn't any rainbow flags flying at this event. There were RBG flags and flags from African countries. No offense, right? No offense. But you niggas got your shit. So that's not what they were doing. And by adhering to an African paradigm or an African art, just by putting the name Africa in the title, and especially because it's spiritual and whatnot, and it's not just Africa from a Walt Disney's point of view, or it's not just Africa from an exploiting point of view. It's the celebration, the veneration, and the recognizing of the power of the culture, the spiritual culture, the artistic culture that's tied into the spiritual culture. It's inseparable. Okay? The mystical culture, the culture of just the different tribes coming together and doing commerce, the merchant part of it, right? Because remember, if anybody's claiming American, right? American before the European got here, pre-Columbus American, right? Post-Columbus and post-doctrine of discovery, right? American, because there was no USA when the doctrine of discovery set forth the Spaniards by way of Columbus and everybody who came after him in a murderous campaign. Those people were basically hired by the popes of Rome. Okay, I was just looking to pull it up on my computer, but for some reason the internet is not pulling up. So I'm gonna have to just talk about it, and I'm gonna highly encourage the students that are out there. Like I said, there's a YouTube killer on the way. I got my hands on the technology. Um, Keep them cash apps coming because I'm gonna have to make a yearly subscription, and it's a high price because it's a high technology. But what it's gonna allow me to do is live stream directly to my Patreons, and also take away what this YouTube dependency. So everybody that's listening to these videos, I need to be able to get your email so I can contact you. The best way for you to give me your email, and it's not in the chat room, because I don't put it in the chat room. I'm not going to copy it. All right. I'm just forewarning you. Go to facts2020.org and just leave your email. It's a landing page. Leave your email in a slot where it says leave your email. Just sign up to the Facts 2020 so you're underneath one umbrella. I'm going to be able to have daily, weekly, monthly. I mean, I'm going to be able to interact with the Facts 2020 initiative family that are in the thousands. And I'm also going to be able to act with the Patreon family that are in the thousands. And I want to be able to, I want y'all to be a part of that as well. So it's not always going to be taking place on YouTube. That door and that window theoretically is already shut. You know when niggas move out of the house and you come back in the house on some Fresh Prince type shit and just start sniffing it. Yeah, nigga, that's what this is. Theoretically, the windows and the door in the house is damn near shut. It's the shit is burning. This is the Matrix. This is Zion, and I ain't talking about homie that ran with the Blue Devils. I'm talking about the homies that was running from the Blue Devils. Zion in the Matrix, and the Sentinels are coming through the ceiling, and we're just still broadcasting live from Zion. Or when Sarah O'Connor and John O'Connor were broadcasting, it's the same thing because the same person wrote it. Okay, a black woman. Sophia Stewart wrote The Terminator and The Matrix. That's a fact. Go ahead and check it out. All right? But we have a killer coming. And the way that we're going to kill this YouTube shit is going to elevate the teaching, is going to elevate the lessons, is going to elevate everything that we're out here doing, dropping this information. It has been, I've seen it already. I'm already privy to what's going on. It's been elevated. So don't cry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for the YouTube. The YouTube is going away like the DVD went away, like the VHS went away, because the way that this whole movement or this boom or this era or this times that we're living in, it's being divinely guided by the technology gods. It's being divinely guided by forces and intelligences or intelligentsia that is more divine than us. And they're opening things up, bro. I'm not gonna live in a world of victimhood. I'm not gonna shit on my blessings. I'm not gonna talk down on my blessings. We have blessings, okay? If you really understand what is going on in this reality that we exist in. If you're looking for everything to be peachy cream, if you've been told that this thing is a Walt Disney movie, then chances are you're gonna your reality is going to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have to really find the energy and the power and the wherewithal to create a reality that's gonna make you feel like that's the truth. And there's a whole bunch of people doing it right now, so I wouldn't discourage you. But facts2020.org is the best way for every single person who is following us for Melanin Mondays, the Third Eye Thursdays, even on Black Magic 363, even on all of these channels. You need to leave me your email, facts2020.org. Don't run into me in 2028 talking about, damn, Red, I was trying to catch up with y'all back in the days when the YouTube shit shut down. I'm gonna be like, nigga, you missed the bus. You know what I'm talking about? You missed the Air Drake because we took off. We took off. And we're not running back to catch, we ain't on no Harriet shit. You know what I'm talking about? We not running back to capture niggas stuck on a plantation of YouTube and whatnot. You know. So, once again, let's go to facts2020.org. The mission is to organize so we can rise. Because I promise you, even after today, leaving the festival, and remember, the festival only represents 1% of what is known as the conscious. I don't even want to say conscious community because that's a misnomer. That doesn't describe us in totality anymore. Until we come up with something new, I would just say us. And you know what we're talking about. Today only represents 1% of us. There's 99% of us that didn't even attend the festivities of today. But that 1% alone makes me enthusiastic and restores all faith that I have in the future of the community or the village or the nation for that matter. Okay? What if the nation might be 100 of us? The nation might be 1,000,000 of us. The nation might be 10 million of us or 100 million of us. Who knows? But it's still a nation. I said it before. You got sets that are out here. Sets. S-E-T. Coincidentally, they name it S-E-T. Set. You got sets where it's like 15 dudes. And they got the whole shit on lock. You know what I mean? You got little, it's not about the numbers per se. So don't be a numbers person. Don't ever get caught up in numbers. Don't get caught up in quantity over quality. Because you can have a solid 10 people and, like the 1% of trillionaires that own all of the money. It's like 10 niggas. You know? They on their Darth Vader shit. Hard body. But this is Blue Pill's Cosmic Kitchen. Cosmic Kale, bro. The Blue Pillar. If you do yourself a favor, if you ever hear that he's in your neighborhood selling that Cosmic Mama's Kitchen, please go and get that from that man. If he's selling 7 Heaven Seymours, go and get that. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. Don't be one to be like, damn, I almost bought it. That boy know what he's doing. I love Tassili's Kale from Tassili's Raw Reality in Atlanta. There's no other kale wrap that's beating that in the world. Hands down, that's the best kale wrap ever. But this kale right here is something else. It tastes like collard greens. And I don't mean to be eating on camera, but goddamn it, Papa need his spinach. They need a melanated Popeye to eat like kale and whatnot. I hope I'm not giving away the $1 billion idea. But you niggas put me on your 401k, okay? So, going back to what I was saying about gathering for a purpose, because don't ever in your life, try to convince yourself or allow anybody for that matter to convince you that going to a festival to be amongst your people and to be festive is a waste of time or is non-productive or counterproductive or you got better things that you could be doing, it's just keeping up with tradition. For my traditionalists out there, even for my contemporaries, and even for people who are living in a somewhat Afrofuturistic mentality, there's in no time that I've seen our people, when they were in their highest, that they did not partake in festivities, marketplaces, and gatherings where they celebrated each other's talents. That I cannot think of any time. In Kemet, you see it. Okay? In Ethiopia, you see it. In Kush, you see it. In the Americas, you see it. In the tribes, you see it. Like, it's everywhere that you look. So, we just carrying on tradition. And by carrying on tradition, it's very powerful because it's sort of like listening to a song that brings back a memory. When you carry on tradition, it's like you tap into memory and whatnot, and you remember the times. It puts you back in that state of mind when you were a village, when you were a nation functioning at solid, when you were organized, when you were operating on the love frequency where you were excited to come together and to see each other, not just to see each other, but to dance for each other, to sing to each other, to trade and barter with each other, to love on each other, to heal each other. You understand? These are our sacred rites of passage. These are our ceremonies. These are something that we hold sacred to us. Low key, low key, on some, real talk. Like my power base for the last 13 years, low key, were these festivals. That's my power source. That's where my batteries not only get they don't only get charged, they get jump started. And it puts me in such a state of mind that it's almost like jet fuel. But if I don't know what I would be able to, I don't even know what I would be able to produce through those years if it were not for those interventions or those intervals where we go to these festivals and we're able to tap into the festive spirit of our people in a ceremonial way, and also in a financially encouraging and a financially rewarding way. Meaning, translation, you looking forward to the bag. That's a good feeling when you know you're gonna pull up and there's some bags waiting for you. That's a great feeling, yo. And it's your culture, and it's doing things that you created out of your mind. You sat down and toiled for hours and whatnot, creating these products or these items, this merchandise, this apparel, these elixirs, this salad. You know what I mean? This sea moss. And then there's people that are out there who are demanding that, and you're supplying them. That's one of the most enthusiastic, fulfilling feelings in the world. Don't let nobody lie to you. Why do you think so many of our people are addicted to selling drugs? It's not necessarily the drugs that they're addicted to. They're addicted to the transaction. They're addicted to the euphoric feeling that they get after a transaction. They're addicted to basically satisfying somebody's need of something. They're supplying a demand. When you supply a demand, dopamine is released. You know what I'm talking about? That shit is addictive. That's why there's some people out here that's permanent help. They just keep cleaning white people's toilets because it feels good when they pat them on their fro or their jerry curls or their locks, for that matter. You know? Niggas is addicted to being the help. So going back to what I was saying before, you know, this is for the ones who like to study. I ain't saying none of this to act like I know something that other people don't know. But, maybe they didn't catch the memo and whatnot. But the United States of America did not start slavery. The United States of America ratified the uh, the business of slavery. But slavery was enacted in this new world that we exist in. We're not talking about the old world. We're talking about the new world. The new world's slavery was written by a pope, a sitting pope, uh, a holy see. He authored what is known as the doctrine of discovery. Okay? That was him. Right? I mean, there wasn't no USA at that point. USA wasn't even thought of. And he already put out an edict, a papal bull, the doctrine of discovery. And with the doctrine of discovery, deputized the Portuguese armies, and they deputized Spanish armies, those with the Spanish tongue, those who bring the Spanish tongue. Like the Portuguese brought the Spanish tongue to Brazil. The Portuguese brought the Portuguese tongue to the Brazilians, and they brought it to the Cape Verdeans and other people. Of course, we know who the Spaniards brought their tongues to. South America, Central America, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. They were given the rights to pillage and to murder and to kill and to destroy and to convert in the name of the Holy Cross, in the name of the Roman Catholics version of Jesus. Not Jesus, the Christ. Not Jesus with the Christ consciousness, because Christ is a title, wasn't his last name. He had the Christ. He's not the only one with the Christ. He's not the only Christ-like figure with Christ consciousness, but he's Jesus the Christ. Right? They came with their version of Jesus from Constantine. And they committed atrocity after atrocity after atrocity after atrocity. They murdered 100 times more than they enslaved. How about that? They committed genocide on the Aztecs. They committed genocide on the Mexicans before they were Mexicans. They committed genocide on the Peruvians. They committed genocide on the Colombians. They committed genocide on the Dominicans. They committed genocide on the Puerto Ricans, on the Filipinos. They committed genocide on the Aboriginal indigenous tribes in the Americas. They committed genocide on the Senegalese, the Ghanaians, the Nigerians. You know what I'm talking about? The Burkina Fasos, the Congolese. These same people that you stand up shoulder and shoulder with, you know what I mean, on some happy independence type shit. So the quote unquote head of the snake, if you want to identify one as such, would not be the USA. It would not be Mitch McConnell. It would not be the Speaker of the House. It would not be Donald Trump. It would be, if you really want to get to the core of the doctrine, the religious, ecclesiastical, papal bull, meaning nigga law, canon law, rule of law, the papal bull. I said it and I mean it. Not that I'm white and I say so. Nigga, I'm the Pope and I say so. They didn't rescind that. That hasn't been, you know, abolished. There was no emancipation on that doctrine. That doctrine said that they conquer in his name, and in his name they conquer. And that's never been rescinded. So you was conquered in his name. So what are you talking about? There has to be a conversation about the fact that you were conquered in his name. So in order to do anything in your name, you have to give him his God back, first and foremost. You got to give him his gods back. American gods. You got to give him his God back. They show you an American God TV series. You're the only people that's praying to the God that enslaved you and asking for that God to unslave you. You're fucking crazy. You're mad. You're the only enslaved people who pray to the same God that they enslaved you with for your freedom. I mean, we some compassionate people and we're lovable. But that nigga don't love us that much. I don't think it's gonna come through him, unfortunately. He's the God, unless you're invoking the Coptic Christ, unless you're invoking the Christ consciousness that's not the same as the figure that was created by Caesar Bourgeois. As long as you're on that, if you're on that frequency, I could get with it. But if you're not, I don't know what to tell you. It doesn't measure up. And over here, we like to measure up. We like things to fit in their place. Even though we live in what is known as a quantum reality, a quantum universe, nigga, it's not that off. You know what I mean? Shit is not that off center. Scientifically and logically, it should be able to pan out. And it just doesn't. It really doesn't. In no way how. You know? So, we've already won. Just got to figure out when we're going to come together and make the announcement. We've already won. That's why they're getting nervous and they're trying to declare all of these weird forms of war against us, which will never work. You know, it'll never work. Do not pay attention to the propaganda. Like I said, we're leaving YouTube alone and we're going into a whole new realm. My best bet to you would be sign up to the Patreon. If you really want to get in, sign up to the Patreon, Patreon.com/Red Pillar, because that's who I'll be doing these live streams with, my Patreons. That's who's going to be seeing these lectures and a lot of exclusive footage and whatnot through the YouTube killer. It's going to be the Patreon members, you know what I'm saying? Facts 2020, when we get into the paid membership, you'll be in there as well. So that's that. I've been out all day working. First day of the festival, so naturally I'm exhausted. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be on here for too long, you know, cause I gotta rest. All right, but y'all get the drift, right? This is going on until Sunday. So if you're in the New York area, pull up. If you're not out here, you know somebody, tell them to pull up. You know, we got merch. We got a lot of products. We got our own tent. We're on the field, right in the Queen Afua Healing Village. We nestled comfortably right in there. So we got our own tent. You could walk in. Mama Pill is in the building. Blue is in the building. Red is in the building. And all of our company, whoever's there when you pull up. We in the building. So come and get some Kings County. Come and get some Cosmic Kitchen. Come and get some Gold Water. Come and get some Apparel Normal. You know what I'm talking about? Come and get Twin the album. Come and get some My Power pieces. You know, we got a lot of stuff out there, so come and get some. Then next week in Long Island on Friday, I'm going to be with Rizza Islam, Brother Ben X. I'm going to be with my sister Th3rd Path. I'm going to be with my brother James Milton. And it's going to be me, Red Pill. We'll be in Hempstead. And the event is called The Wake Up Call. All right? That's Friday, noon to 7 p.m. All right? That's Friday, July 12th. Pull up. And then Saturday in Philadelphia at the Advocate Church is going to be Red Pill, Blue Pill, Dr. Pam Africa, and Professor James Smalls. Talking about African spirituality and economics. All right, so please be in the building, Philadelphia. I want to meet y'all. I want to greet y'all. You know what I mean? And build with y'all and drop some information live and direct. So be in the building. All right, so those are the things that are coming up. We'll talk about other things that are coming up, but we're going to get those out the way. Okay? But I'm about to sign off. I'm wild tired. All right? Love and light to the family. Peace.